devastated Aleppo. This gives an idea of the firepower of the Syrian army and its Russian backers who've been making gains around Aleppo. One of the big questions about the ceasefire is whether they're prepared to give their enemies a chance to rest and regroup. On the rebel side, there are also doubts. Groups backed by the Americans have been told they have to separate from more radical militias, who they regard as allies. And another important rebel group, Aqra al-Sham, which is backed by Saudi Arabia, has already rejected the ceasefire agreement.
The deal that was announced between the US and Russia to resolve the issue in Syria does not achieve, in our view, the basic minimum goals set by our avenging people. They will lose all their sacrifices and gains.
In Damascus, President Bashar al-Assad chose to celebrate the Muslim festival of Eid al-Adha by visiting and praying in the suburb of Daraya. It was in rebel hands for 5 years until they surrendered at the end of August after what the UN called an unrelenting siege. President Assad's government has backed the ceasefire, but his words suggested that he has unfinished military business.
The Syrian state is determined to recover all areas from the terrorists, to restore security, to rebuild the infrastructure and everything else that was destroyed in both human and material aspects. We came here today to replace the fake freedom that they tried to promote at the beginning of the crisis, like in Daraya, with the real freedom.
People are used to war here. The holiday is being celebrated even though there was a steady thunder of artillery fire throughout the day. The ceasefire agreement is complicated, potentially fragile, and all sides in the war doubt whether it can work. But it's all the diplomats have. At the very least, it might be a respite for the people who need one most. Jeremy Bowen, BBC News, Aleppo.
The US Secretary of State has called on all sides to keep to the ceasefire. Said it's too early to tell if it's holding, but latest reports suggest the worst conflict areas have gone quiet.
The earliest reports are that there's some reduction in violence, as well as a few reports of fighting here and there, though it is far too early to draw any definitive conclusions, and I am not drawing any definitive conclusions. Syrian Observatory for Human Rights said that major conflict zones in Syria were calm after the ceasefire took effect at 7 p.m. on Monday. Their quote is, "Calm is prevailing." The director said, giving an early assessment. I repeat, early assessment.